Andreen McDonald is a wonderful human being who is like an angel here on earth.
She is a wonderful person, and I just do hope that she does come back to us safely.
We believe that Andreen McDonald is no longer living.
The disappearance of a San Antonio mother, business owner, and philanthropist has since garnered global attention. 29-year-old Andreen McDonald was last seen on February 28th. Andreen McDonald, her husband, and also a high-ranking major in the United States Air Force, has since been charged with tampering evidence and released on bond. Here's what we know so far about the disappearance of Andreen McDonald and the desperate search for clues. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the afternoon of Friday, March 1st, deputies were called out to the McDonald home after Andreen didn't show up for work. In the home, deputies observed human blood on the light switch and floor of the master bathroom. They also found a burn pile in the backyard and Andreen's personal items left behind, like her purse, ID, and car keys. When questioned, her husband initially told deputies that Andreen was being treated at a nearby hospital. Investigators contacted the facility and were told that she was not a patient there. When Andre was confronted about the conflicting information, he told deputies he had no idea where his wife was.
To us, he has not said much. When we originally came into contact with him on Friday evening, he lawyered up pretty quick. He asserted his right to counsel, which he absolutely has, and but it made us a bit suspicious. Not the fact that he asserted his rights, the fact that he didn't seem to care very much at all that his wife was missing, and the fact that he just flat out refused to help us with finding her.
After obtaining a warrant to search the home thoroughly, on Saturday, March 2nd, deputies conducted a more in-depth dig into the McDonald home and vehicles.
Once we made entry to the house, we found some things that really quite disturbing, pretty indicative of what I believe that we're going to find. The evidence consisted of a shovel, an axe, some heavy-duty trash bags, some work gloves, and 2 5-gallon containers of gasoline and a burn pit. It led us to believe that these were implements that were going to be used to dispose of a body.
An affidavit obtained by KENS 5 also shows investigators found human blood on the license plate of their Chevy Malibu. They also noticed the garage door was torn off the tracks. That same day, deputies followed Andre to Nagel's gun shop, where they say he purchased a gun and a substantial amount of ammunition. When deputies approached him, they say his response was bizarre.
Intercepted him as he was leaving the gun shop. At some point there, it looked like he got spooked. He left it so much so that he left his gun and his identification behind the gun shop.
On March 3rd, deputies felt they had enough information to charge Andre with tampering evidence. In
conducting the search of the residence, we found a receipt where, in fact, he had earlier in the day purchased those items that we found. There was quite a bit of effort that went into destroying that receipt to try to prevent us seeing where it was purchased and when it was purchased. So that led us to obtain a warrant of arrest for Andreen McDonald.
He was arrested and booked into the Bexar County Jail. His bond was set at $2 million.
Anything to say to your daughter right now? Where is she?
She's with my mother-in-law. I love my daughter. Love my family.
What do you have to say about this entirely?
Daily searches ensued. On the morning of March 7th, hundreds of community members, deputies, and military personnel braved the cold weather and searched for Andreen.
If you see something that looks suspicious or you think it needs to be brought to our attention, let us know.
Investigators learned that Andre came onto the Camp Bullis military training reservation around the time of Andreen's disappearance, on a day he had no official business scheduled there. A Facebook group even emerged with thousands of members posting their own theories and organizing additional searches. International media picked up the story, including multiple Jamaican outlets and blogs where Andreen and Andre both have roots. Disturbing details continue to come out. Investigators believe their 7-year-old daughter may have witnessed something violent happen to her mom.
But to us, it's pretty evident that she saw something. She saw what happened to her mom. And that's the most heartbreaking part of this case.
The affidavit shows a friend of Andreen's told deputies in a sworn statement that in the past, the missing mother told her multiple times that if anything ever happened to her, it would be because of Andre.
I would never, ever have seen him as a violent man. But, you know, there are a lot of things we don't see and we don't know.
Andre filed for divorce in 2017, but later withdrew his petition.
You know, I knew that they didn't have the best marriage, but they worked together. It was good.
Andreen's aunt, Cheryl Spencer, remained positive when we spoke with her at the search on March 7th.
You know, Andre's mom is in town. You know, I'm going to try to see Jackie later tonight. Again, she's family. And, you know, our hope is that, you know, maybe he'll tell his mom, you know, something that he hasn't chosen or able to tell someone else. And that's really what our hope is. You know, he's an adult male, but, you know, boys have relationships with their mothers. And, you know, we're hoping, and we just want the public to reach out to her as well because, you know she's dealing with this as well.
Andre is granted a reduced bond on March 27th after sitting in jail for 3.5 weeks.
And let's let the justice system take its course.
Court's going to go ahead and set a bond at $300,000. I'm going to order GPS, full house arrest, or partial. He'll be allowed to work, only work, to work and home.
His bond went from $2 million to $300,000 after his lawyers argued his 7-figure bond was uncalled for with little evidence.
Breaking news tonight in the case of a mother who disappeared 1 month ago. Just minutes ago, we learned her husband and the prime suspect has posted bond. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office tells us they're still processing Andreen McDonald for GPS monitoring. He's expected to be released tomorrow morning.
On April 2nd, Andre walked out of the Bexar County Jail. He's placed on house arrest and is only allowed to go to and from work. Contact with his daughter is off limits.
What do you have to say to your daughter?
What is she?
Is he okay? Does he need help? What happened to Andreen?
Where's Andreen? Where's Andreen McDonald, Andreen?
KENS 5 spoke with him briefly at his home the day he was released.
Is there something you would like to say to your daughter?
No, I don't have anything else to say, but thanks.
On April 4th, a hiker contacts police after finding human remains burned beyond recognition in a wooded area of northwest Bexar County. Many, including the Bexar County Sheriff, were hopeful this was the final piece to this painful puzzle.
Everyone wants to know, is this Andreen McDonald?
Well, we'd like to know the same thing as well. As I mentioned last night, you know, we're cautiously optimistic about that being a possibility, but we can't rule out the fact that it may be somebody else altogether. And so we've got to handle this as if it's a completely unknown person to us, and we'll go from there.
We begin with breaking news tonight. A burned body dumped off the side of a highway is not the missing mother, Andreen McDonald. Just 1 hour ago, we learned the medical examiner has determined it is not Andreen.
So while we remain resolute to continue the search for Andreen and continue to try to find closure to her family, we now have another family that we need to try to identify this other.
Crime Stoppers may offer up to $5,000 for any information that leads to the conviction of anyone responsible for crimes against Andreen. Andre McDonald is due back in court this May. I'm Nia Wesley, and you can stay tuned to KENS 5 and KENS5.com for the latest updates in this case.